Adesh Namaste. Today's talk is from a request by Narsimhi Das and Shaktinath. They have requested me to talk on the concept of duality and non-duality in Tantra. This is a very vast subject which I will somewhat simplify. Now, first we must give a definition of what duality and non-duality is. So, duality in Sanskrit is dvaita, meaning two. So here we have a philosophy which implies a separation from the source and its expression, hence two. Okay, so we have God and the soul, spirit and the world, matter, and so forth. Non-duality in Sanskrit is advaita, meaning not two. So here we have the essential unity of God, of consciousness, of existence, of life, and its expression. Now let's look a little bit deeper into those concepts. Now, in duality, there appears to be some antagonism, which is often explained as duality. So we have night and day, birth and death, male, female, spirit, matter, merit, demerit, punya, papas, God, the soul. Some of the schools that are associated with dualism in Sanatana Dharma are the following, but not limited to: the more monotheistic lineages and approaches to the divine. So here, for example, we have the schools of Madhvacharya, okay, and quite a few of the Krishna sects, often called Krishnaism. Then we have other concepts such as Ishvara, meaning the Lord. We see this appearing in, for example, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. And Ishvara there is a special kind of self that's unaffected by circumstances. And then we have the dualistic and materialistic concept of Sankhya philosophy. So in Sankhya philosophy, reality and the human experience is constituted of two independent ultimate principles. These two independent principles are called Purusha and Prakriti. So Purusha is consciousness, which is separate from Prakriti or Mother Nature. Now under Prakriti, we also have the mind, the causal if you like. We also have energies such as emotions, for example, and we have, of course, nature, matter, that falls under Prakriti. Now, under non-duality, there's oneness. There's one reality. So here we have a school of Advaita Vedanta and also most schools of Tantra. Some schools of Tantra, without going into details, do fall under vaguely dualism because they tend to align themselves to Sankhya philosophy and the 25 elements thereof of Sankhya philosophy. Now, this concept of non-duality means that the inherent nature of all things is consciousness, the true self, in that there's only one consciousness or self, okay? Indeed, there's no self, meaning here the egoic, transitory, material, non-enduring reality of name and form. but the self. And the self here meaning Brahman, the ineffable, the one without a second. So let me explain it this way to you. Consciousness, all pervasive, yet unborn and untainted, is the ultimate reality. For expression, for individuation, for subjective, objective experience, that ultimate reality as consciousness becomes the universal mind. That universal mind expresses itself as the universally as Om. And Om, if we look at the letters very cleverly, O and M as a short Om, we have the O for original and M for mind, the original mind. So from the universal mind as consciousness becomes the universal mind and expresses itself universally as Om. So from the universal mind as Om, the original mind, from the original mind emerges the universal prana, the universal life force, which eventually gives rise to the coalescence of mind as matter. Okay? Now, matter, name or form, finds expression in space and time, and hence in the limitation of birth, maintenance, dissolution and death. Or, in Sanatana Dharma, this is expressed as a Trimurti of Brahma, the creative principle, of Vishnu, the order and maintenance principle, and Maheshwara as the dissolution, transformative principle. So, Brahman, the ineffable, the absolute, the pure unallied bigness, beyond any concepts of mind, philosophy, dogma, labels, or orientations. The pure subjectivity beyond any objectivity, the innate beyond any vehicle of expression, whether that is causal, subtle, or physical, simultaneously in its dynamic and undifferentiated aspect as Kalima, the unalloyed power of the Absolute stirs, vibrates the invisible and visible universes into existence. We call that spanda in Tantra, meaning tremoring. So that tremoring manifests limitless and evolving worlds and beings with various degrees of conscious awareness of their divine nature, which provides an apparent multiverse of expression at the causal, meaning the mind, at the astral, meaning at the vibratory and manifest levels. However, the essence is one. All emanations and expressions of a one consciousness without beginning nor end. Now, I'd like to remind you that Sanatana Dharma, the perennial philosophy, encompasses various perspectives and philosophies on truth, depending on which angle that you look at truth. So from a purely materialistic philosophy of Charvaka to the monistic ideal of Adi Shankara, and many, many different views and philosophies in between those. What is popularly known as Hinduism is in fact a synthesis of various traditions. The Brahminical orthopraxy, the renouncer traditions, and popular and local traditions. So what separates Tantra from Samkhya and Advaita Vedanta is that Tantra has deified the two concepts of Purusha and Prakriti in Samkhya. They have deified those concepts as Shiva for Purusha, as consciousness, and Shakti as Prakriti, as power and energy. Further, Shiva Shakti are inseparable as Prakasha, meaning relating to Shiva as a light of consciousness, and Vimarsha, relating to Shakti as a power of self-awareness, implying that we are reflections or representations of pure consciousness itself. Now, compared to the Advaita Vedanta of Adi Shankara, where the world is considered Maya or an illusion, Tantra approaches non-duality as the following: nothing exists that is not divine. I will repeat this. Nothing exists that is not divine. Hence, Tantra is not life-denying and considers the body and the universe as divine manifestation and expressions. For we are divine beings having a transitory human experience in an impermanent world. But there's one consciousness, one mind, one power. Jai Ma.